This video, we're going to be spectating a Celestial 3 Thor to see what he's doing better and how we can improve as this hero. So from this video, what would be good to see is basically how he actually plays here. Thor is a very tank buster tank, so you can basically take on other tanks and deal tons of damage, which is what's good about him. You need to basically play for your awakening rune constantly. So I think that's kind of what obviously he's going to do here. And if you can steal enemy players with his dashes, then that's something that's quite useful. Now, I'm actually pretty decent with Thor. I'm not going to say I'm good. I'm just going to say I'm pretty decent, above average with Thor anyway. Unlike the Wolverine video we made earlier, I don't really know how to play Wolverine that well, if I'm being honest. But when it comes to Thor, I have a decent amount of game time, and it's very interesting to see kind of how these players play. Now, this is a pro player playing in the tournament right now. And he kind of stood in that front line dealing damage there for quite a long period of time, and then he died. And I think it's good to keep in all the deaths as well, because we want to know how these players come back from dying, because especially when it comes to overtime and things like that, I find myself rushing back into games quite a lot, and maybe you just die constantly after that. So I want to see how these players kind of handle it in obviously competitive games. Maybe they hold back, wait for their team, that kind of thing. So he's taken out the tanks. He's focusing on Magneto and Venom quite a lot from what I can see here. And he's not used his Awakening Rune until now. And he is playing for the Awakening Rune from the looks of things. And that's basically how you need to use Thor, essentially. Now, this guy is obviously an extremely good player. So him dying still is quite important. So as you can see, he's taken a lot of damage in that front line. Obviously that's going to happen when you're playing these kind of tanks anyway, but the other team's pushed up quite quickly. As you can see, they've got to the first kind of checkpoint very fast, and obviously he's back on the Magneto again, as he should be, using the Awakening Rune again, as he should be. This is nothing too complicated here, in my opinion. He's not really doing much in terms of holding off angles or anything like that just yet, besides the start of the gameplay. If he takes out this Venom, okay, he doesn't get the Venom yet. Fighting the backline now. And it'll be interesting to see if he dashes players back towards his team. So if he gets behind them and then dashes them towards his team. He's getting very good heals as well here right now. Pops an ultimate on top of, I think, the Cloak and Dagger bubble. Which probably should have waited until that disappeared first and then popped his ultimate. And he got the Punisher essentially one shot, but I don't think he actually got him. But he got the Magneto though. So like I said, Thor is the tank buster's tank essentially. So if you don't want to play Winter Soldier, or if you don't want to play Wolverine, then Thor is probably your next best option, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. Plus he has a lot more health, and he has a lot more survivability because he gains HP or shields as he uses abilities. So he's pretty solid in that aspect. And obviously can frontline as well, unlike the other two. He took an ultimate there like he was... And life by yourself doesn't mean he's running off doing his own thing. It means that he's basically frontlining for his team. And this Awakening Rune is super powerful now. So this is after the update, when they've basically added in no cooldowns. So you can use it more often. And here he's just basically dealing damage to absolutely everyone. I don't think he's focusing on any target in particular. And I have a feeling he's going to pop his ultimate soon, if I'm being honest. I've not watched his gameplay yet. But he manages to get the Squirrel Girl, which is good. But you should really be focusing the Invisible Woman, I think. That's my personal opinion. So he's by himself now here. They're going to get that second checkpoint. He does get a lot of kills in this gameplay, so I think maybe potentially they're in the second half of this. Or probably near the end of the checkpoint. That's sometimes how these games just play out, unfortunately. So it just depends. Obviously, he does have a Magneto on his team, and I've not really seen too much of his own Magneto. And obviously, I don't want to start switching Spectate, because we're actually focusing on this player alone. Because I want to make sure we're focusing on what we can improve on each of these heroes individually. So he pops his ultimate here. He's not going to get a kill. I know that for a fact. Yeah, he's not going to get a kill here. He gets the Invisible Woman, and he's focusing the Cloak and Dagger. Now, he's doing a really good job here. He's going to die, but he gets the Invisible Woman, and he almost gets the Cloak and Dagger, and he also gets a revive. So all in all, it was a good play. I don't think he knew about the revive, but obviously he got it nonetheless. And again, as you can see, he's playing for the Awakening Rune. You have to do that with Thor. It's the only sole way of you dealing tons of damage to the enemy team. Right now he's getting healed up. And his Magneto's just done an ultimate, which didn't really do too much damage, to be fair. Again, he's on the Venom. I don't think he's killed many DPS so far. He's obviously killed the Squirrel Girl once, but he's mainly focused on the tanks for the most part. He has killed a couple of supports, but I feel like he is just frontlining a lot and basically just dealing damage to tanks, which obviously Thor can do. I know a lot of people don't like to keep these in because it's a bit of a boring section, but it is part of gameplay, getting back into fights, and we want to see how these guys do it. So he's dashed across the kind of gap in the ground there, and obviously his teammates managed to secure the objective now at this point, so he's actually in a good spot, just kind of pushing back the objective, and they know where the team is going to push from because it's only a couple of doorways. And at this point, I think he should have popped his Awakening Rune. I don't know why he didn't. Maybe he's just waiting to do his ultimate. Again, Awakening Rune again now, so I'm not too sure if he waited for the Magneto shield. I'm not sure what he's done there. And I think he's going to pop his ultimate now. Yeah. So he dashes up into the air, gets a bit of a weird off angle, and then uses his ultimate. Again, he doesn't really get any kills with his ultimate. He just kind of tries to scare the enemies back from the looks of things. So in these higher ranked games, or even when you're playing in your own rank, the players are of similar skill level, and they're going to kind of know roughly what you're trying to do. So you're not always going to get kills with the ultimate, so sometimes you can just burn it and use it to push the enemy back to kind of scare them off as well. I think that works out extremely well. Again, focusing tanks. That's a pretty common theme here. He's focusing the tanks a lot. He will probably get this. Yeah, he'll probably get the Punisher. And he'll probably get this Venom as well. He loves fighting this Magneto for some reason, to be honest. And I think it's just because he knows he can get through his bubble. So it's, again, something that you need to understand what your hero can and can't do. His main thing is that he's frontlining a lot. So what that means is he's basically standing in front of his team, pushing the other team back. He's not trying to flank or do any of these crazy things. He's standing in front of his team, dealing melee damage, and then popping his Awakening Rune, dealing melee damage, focusing the tanks. Every now and again, he's focusing someone like a Punisher, but that Punisher had no chance there, to be honest. And when he does go for the supports, to be honest, he's not really having tons of success, besides in that case where that Cloak and Dagger is basically out of position completely. This will be his best ultimate yet, where he's going to get a couple of kills from. So he essentially got the kills from when he was in the sky, which deals damage, and his team are playing amazingly well right now, to be honest. So he's getting these supports, but when they're by themselves, he's not getting them like when they're in the back line. Before we get into the second part of this game, please subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this. We like spectating a lot of the pro players, but we also want to spectate bronze players as well to see how they can also improve. I think that would be a little bit more entertaining to see how those guys play, because these guys know exactly what they're doing, and we like pointing out what's good and what's bad about gameplay to see how we can both improve together in terms of all of these heroes. Let's get straight back into it. So he dashes up here, gets a good off angle, and he gets right in behind the enemy team. I did not know you could do that, to be honest. That is insane. Some of the stuff seems pretty obvious, but until you're actually playing in a game, it's pretty difficult to pull off. But they've got a Groot now, so he needs to play slightly differently to what he was doing before, but he takes out the Groot, no problem, apparently. But they've got a magic on their team as well, so they're doing backline diving and then dealing damage. Then he obviously is getting those attacks. He's taking out Magneto again. But they've got a Wolverine now to counter him, I think. Yeah, they've got a Wolverine on their team, so Thor's probably one of the better tanks to actually fight Wolverine, to be honest. Like, some of the other tanks struggle to 1v1 Wolverine, whereas, again, Thor, because he's like a tank buster tank, he can do damage to Wolverine. It's a weird game concept with the way Thor is. He could have even been a DPS in this game, but the way he's set up is just perfect to take out high HP heroes. It's ridiculous, man. If you know how to use Thor correctly, he's good. And it's all about using that Awakening Rune. As you can see, he's done so much damage with his Awakening Rune just there on Groot. And I think he's going to have a better second half to this game. So as you can see, Wolverine's now attacking him, and you could just basically escape Wolverine. Thor's probably one of the only tanks that have this kind of movement capability, besides Venom as well, obviously. But I think Thor just outputs more damage at close range. Like, as you can see, Thor's getting a little bit of HP. He can kill Wolverine, no problem. And I think if you want to play a tank that's not going to get stolen and just destroyed by a Wolverine or a Winter Soldier, then Thor is an amazing choice. So that's some of the reasons why to play him. And right now, he's doing a fantastic job at just basically harassing the shit out of this team, by the way. Like, he's doing a great job. Kills this Magneto again for the millionth time, I think, in this game. Misses the dash, but it's okay. He doesn't have to take out the supports. Like, that is not his job. He's got a magic on the team now, which can do a better job at that. Wolverine ults him, but he's with his team. He's stacked together in his team, so he's not going to die. Like, he's getting the heals. He's basically, his team is clustered together, and he's frontlining like a champ, to be honest, man. He's doing a great job here. I had a feeling the second half of this game was going to be a lot better because he was doing a lot better in the end portion of the first half of the game. So obviously that kind of momentum carries over, and you probably find that in your own games, that when you're doing better near the end of the previous round, your momentum carries over into the second round and you actually do a lot better as well. So that just kind of happens. And right now he's just kind of waiting. I think he's waiting to see where the enemy team's coming from. He probably will go for the thing right here. Yep. So I'm assuming he's going to do that. Again, puts out more damage than the thing, so he's going to do a lot more damage. The thing's quite slow damage, charging up punches, whereas the Thor can basically just dash around, do a couple of hammer throws, do his Awakening Rune, and even when he swings his hammer, it deals a lot of damage as well. Now, I wonder if the Awakening Rune actually goes through the Magneto shield. I don't think it does because it's technically a projectile. But this guy's just making it look like he's doing so much damage, to be honest, man. He's doing a really good job here. Yeah, man. He's going to get this. I had a feeling he would get that because the thing was low HP. And he was playing with his Magneto there, which was really good. So now he should... Is he going to dash him off the map? That's something I would have tried to do and probably kill myself. But you tried to dash the Magneto off the map, essentially. Which is a good play because it means... You take him out pretty quickly if you do that, because Magneto can't fly or do anything like that, so it makes sense. He can't really move the thing, so all he needs to do is just melee constantly. And there's kind of almost no point in popping the Awakening Rune at that point because the thing was by himself. So it's only good when you're going to spam a lot of shots down range. You know you're going to land some hits on multiple targets. This was a much better round. It's quite interesting to see he's not trying to dash enemies towards his team. It's something I would personally do. I don't know if it's purposely done. Gets a good ultimate here. This is a really good ultimate, man. 2 kills with an ultimate. Really good in this high level of game. Pushing the point now. There's not really much else to do here. They just basically stay on the point. The Invisible Woman probably shouldn't be that far forward, if I'm being honest. Again, he's after the Magneto. I feel like he's just killed this Magneto over and over and over again in this game. It's ridiculous, man. Like, it's actually insane. They're going to win this game pretty quickly, I think. Unless the other team has a lot of ults. This Magneto's done for, man. He shouldn't have popped the Awakening Rune just yet. I don't know if he wanted just like in the shield buff. I think that was an early pop because the Magneto bubbled then, obviously, but maybe he popped it at the same time as the bubble. So you can't counteract everything in this game. Obviously, everything's quite fast paced. The Magneto probably bubbled the same time he popped his Awakening Rune, so we can't really criticize that too much. Especially since he's destroyed this Magneto on numerous occasions now. He might die here, or maybe not. That's something you do need to learn how to do, though. When it comes to Scarlet Witch's ultimate, as long as you stand behind cover, not breakable cover, by the way, like actual hard cover, then you'll survive the ultimate. So just try and stay behind cover as much as you can. Should get this kill, maybe not. Scarlet Witch right now, in my opinion, is probably one of the most annoying heroes to play against. This is a good ultimate time because this is the game over now. That's it. So there we have it. Our guy Spectre goes 38-7 in a pro game using Thor. Like I said, it's all about waiting for his Awakening Rune and kind of using that in the correct timings and also going for the correct heroes. As you can see, he's basically frontlining, mainly focusing on killing the enemy tanks, and that is what you want to be doing with Thor after watching this gameplay. If you enjoyed this video and learned something new, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and thank you very much for watching.